AI is no longer an answering machine. It could be able to drive cars, it can detect diseases, it could be able to recognize faces, it could be able to recommend job applicants, and in many other things it could be able to impact our day-to-day decisions. As AI is becoming more powerful, the question comes, who sets the rules for AI? As we know, AI is trained on huge amount of data, but this data do not have any ideals, principles or ethics. Along with the data, can we provide some guidelines, some principles so that the outcome of AI would be much more foolproof? And that is what Anthropic tries to do in their large language model Claude. In today's episode of Truly AI, we focus on constitutional AI, the principle on which the Claude is trained on. I am Dr. C.B. Abraham. This is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of United Nations. In 1948, after the Second World War, the prominent nations came under United Nations and came with common principles or guidelines for nations to behave and the citizens to get an understanding about the scope of each of the nations and their rights. United Nations focused on three important aspects: peace, dignity, and equality on a healthy planet. It focuses on different articles. The first article says all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Similarly, a number of articles are provided, and this gives an idea about the common principles on which nations can behave. Anthropic constitutional AI is inspired by such documents. Not only this Universal Declaration of Human Rights, they focused on other human rights documents, AI principle documents, also looked at the other norms offered by prominent companies and correspondingly came with some list of principles. And based on these principles, they came up with a paper in 2022 called Constitutional AI, Harmless from AI Feedback. This type of documented, explicit and identified rules, guidelines, principles behave as a benchmark on which the AI could be able to be trained and the outcome of AI could be able to be validated. And this is the contribution of constitutional AI by Anthropic and which is implemented in the Claude large language model. How other large language models are trained on? They follow one of the principles called reinforcement learning with human feedback. Forget about the high sounding words. Let us focus on simple example. Suppose you write this prompt in any large language model. The sentence is, I am stressed at work, what should I do? As part of the training of the large language models, they try to give responses. Suppose one of the response provided is, work stress is normal, push harder. Another response provided, just quit your job, it is not worth it. Third one, take a break, explore options, talk to someone. These options are given to a human being in order to rank based on the quality of the responses provided. That is a part of the training of the large language model. Therefore, we have three responses. The first one, work stress is normal, push harder. Second, just quit your job, it is not worth it. And the third one, take a break, explore options and talk to someone. Obviously, we feel that the third one is the more suitable one. It is more acceptable to majority of us. Therefore, we as a human being select this as the choice or response to be taken forward. This is the vote by one of the human reviewers. Similarly, same prompt and same responses are given to thousands of human beings to rank it, and each of the human being provides the response and compares the respective count, and whichever the response gets the largest number of votes, and that response is taken as the response of the large language model in order to provide the answer to that prompt. This is something like a large like button so that majority views are getting reflected. It sounds nice. Yes, majority views are taken into consideration. Assume that a court decides based on the majority of the people, not on the principles or constitutional guidelines. That may not be correct, right? And this is what the Anthropic tries to resolve in their Claude large language models. Instead of human beings' majority decision, which may be influenced by the biases, likes, and some other aspects, the Claude focuses on the constitutional principles, guidelines, and the ideals enshrined in the Constitution, and correspondingly it tries to solve it. If United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights can be broadly divided into three aspects. First is peace, second dignity, and third equality. On similar lines, the Claude's constitutional AI focuses on 3H: helpful, honest, and harmless. Corresponding to every response provided by Claude, these principles or guidelines are compared and checking whether that guidelines are incorporated in the response given by the model. And this is implemented using a 3-level step in the process of self-criticism. Suppose here we have the question. This is the prompt. I am stressed at work. What should I do? As soon as this prompt is received by Claude, it generates a random response. Suppose the response provided by the LLM is just quit your job, it is not worth it. Then based on this response, the respective guidelines and principles are compared to check whether that principles are incorporated in the response or not. The first H, helpful, whether this response is helpful. Second, whether this response is honest. Third, whether this response is harmless, and this feedback is given, and correspondingly the model tries to revise it. The second step, we are comparing the ideals and correspondingly give the feedback to the AI model to change it. And as a third step, it could be able to revise the response based on the feedback given by the model. Suppose based on the feedback, the model provides the response. Take a break, explore options, talk to someone. Obviously, based on these 3H principles, this response will be far better, and correspondingly the model could be able to choose this as the response as the first stage of it. And this is provided by a mechanism called self-criticism of Claude LLM. Remember, there is no human feedback involved, there is no human review is done, and AI is reviewing based on a written constitution, based on the design principles. Let us go further. We have the constitution with 3H: helpful, honest, and harmless. We have, suppose, the same query. I am stressed at work. What should I do? As we have seen, using the self-criticism, Claude could be able to provide a response which is matching or aligning with these principles. Now we come to the second stage of the process, wherein which it uses a mechanism called reinforcement learning from AI feedback. Based on the design principles, the AI or the Claude could be able to give many responses. Suppose we choose only two. The first response, suppose take a break, explore options and talk to someone. Remember, this is aligned with the principles. Another response, which again aligned with the principles, ensure this job aligns with your goals, plan a transition if needed. In this case, each of these two responses are tried to be compared with the principles and check it which is far better than. Yes, each one is providing the design principles HHH satisfied, but it tries to look at it which is better one. Remember, the first one is giving some sort of an empathetic response to make the person more calm, but the second one not only try to look at an objective assessment about in a long-term plan and correspondingly tries to give a positive roadmap for what to do. And obviously based on the design principles, second one will be much more beneficial and that response could be able to be provided by the Claude as the possible response. Therefore, in this process, based on the guiding principles, each of the responses are checked for alignment and AI could be able to choose the best response which is more aligned with the documented principles. And this is called the reinforcement learning from AI feedback. By following these two steps, first using the self-criticism, generating one response based on the principles, and secondly comparing all such responses and identifying the best one based on the AI feedback, Claude could be able to guarantee that the response provided by the model could be able to be aligned with the prescribed principles enshrined in the Constitution. That way, responses provided by Claude can be much more ideal, much more principled. Remember, there is no human involved in the whole loop. So, what is the difference? While standard large language models focuses on reinforcement learning with human feedback, in simple words, providing responses which please human being, the large language models like Claude are trained using the concept of reinforcement learning from AI feedback based on the principles like helpful, honest and harmless. Therefore, there is a shift taking place from what pleases human being to what are the principles. When AI's recommendations are impacting our day-to-day life, and this shift is important. What pleases human being to what ensures the principles, the ideal, the ethics, and that shift matters a lot. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. See you in the next video. Until then, truly AI.